Hi kids. What comes into your mind instantly when you hear the word the clown? Definitely a funny person, isn't it? Okay, today we are going to discuss about the poem The Clown's Wife, which was composed by the Guyanese writer Johnson Agad. I'm Dilshan Lisanayaka from Litgodadamu. Okay, the title of the poem is the most significant one that we should discuss. Now, at the beginning, when you just hear the title, The Clown, it comes into your mind a very funny character. But this funny character is described by his wife. Why did the writer select the wife of the clown to describe his character? Don't you think that we can describe his character exactly, clearly, rather than his wife? No. Because we are the outsiders and we see the clown with his funny attire. Therefore, definitely we would describe him as a very enjoyable character. But the reality is far different from that. It is well known by the wife who is the most intimate one to him. The poem is begun with a rhetorical question. The wife asked from the audience and maybe from an omnipresent listener, about my husband the clown, what could I say? Now, this rhetorical question very clearly displays the frustration of this speaker. The poem is narrated in the first person's point of view, isn't it? Therefore, in the poem, you meet I as the speaker. And she asks in rather frustrated manner, about my husband the clown, what could I say? So, it clearly depicts her dissatisfaction in her family life. Then she says that on stage, he's a different person. So, please remember that you should not pronounce this word as different, right? It's not different, but it is different. So, she says that her husband is a different person on the stage. So it depicts that, it reveals that at home he must be completely a different character. And up there he is a king on a throne. Now this is a metaphor. He is a king. She doesn't say that he is like a king, but she says that he is a king on the stage. Now, this metaphor emphasizes the dominance of the clown on the stage. He speaks in rather lofty tone and he is able to draw the attention of all the people in the audience. Therefore, he becomes an outstanding character on the stage. That's why the wife says that up there he is a king on a throne. But at the same time, she suggested that, but at home, you should hear him mourn. Now, people mourn when they are in pain, aren't they? Hence, it is very clear to us that the clown plays completely a different role at his home, unlike on the stage. On the stage, he is the king, but at home, he has got many sufferings in his life. Okay, in your point of view, Pude, why does this narrator suggest us to hear him mourn? Because as the outsiders, we think that the clown is having such a happier, enjoyable, joyful life even at home as he pretends on the stage. Therefore, the wife says us that you should hear him mourn. And when he walks through the door, now this door symbolizes the division line between the reality and the fantasy, isn't it? Without that red nose and them funny clothes. Now here we notice a grammatical mistake, don't we? Without that red nose and them funny clothes. Them is wrong here, isn't it? Therefore, the writer, this is not a fault of the writer. It was not a mistake done by the writer, but it is a mistake done by the narrator. So, the writer wants to highlight that the wife is not much educated. Her education level is a little bit low. In order to show this, this grammatical mistake had been used here intentionally. So he comes without that red nose. This red nose symbolizes his occupation, and whenever he comes home, his identity has been changed. On stage he is the happy person, the one who entertains the others as well, but at home, no, he is not as funny as on the stage. And this line, he seems to have the world on his shoulder. This contracts, I suppose, the whole character of the clown, whole sufferings of the clown. For him, the life is very heavy, isn't it? He bears a big burden upon his shoulders. Therefore, he seems to be careworn at the moment, isn't he? So it is emphasized by saying that he seems to have the world on his shoulder. Now, this is the fate of most of the breadwinners, isn't it? They have a big burden upon their shoulders, but they don't show it generally to the world. Now, she says again, I do me best to cheer him up. Again, you notice a grammatical mistake, don't you? And I do my best, isn't it? It must have been corrected like that, but this is not a fault or the mistake of the writer again. And she uses an epithet here, poor soul. Poor soul. So it shows her sympathetic attitude regarding her husband. So she tried to imitate his activities. Her objective is to make him happy. So what does she do? She juggles with the eggs, and she turns cartwheels, and she tells jokes, and she did her latest card tricks. Now we know that these are the activities performed by the clown on the stage. But the wife played them, and her objective was to make her husband happy. But she didn't realize that these things are pretty much boring things for him. These are very monotonous activities. Therefore, rather than taking it as something to be happy about, he must have taken it as an insult. Hence, we find that the wife's objective was not much fulfilled. Then, we find the reaction of the clown. How did he respond to all these activities of his wife? He doesn't say exactly how he feels. He keeps calm. He doesn't utter even a single word. Doesn't say what's bothering him inside. Now it is very clear that he has got some internal botherings, but he didn't reveal it. He just keep calm, right? And just sits there saying almost to himself. Now we find that the clown, he soliloquizes. He soliloquizes. That means he speaks alone to himself. And we know that people soliloquize when they are frustrated, when they are disappointed. Therefore, it is very much clear to us that the clown was not satisfied at all. So he soliloquizes another rhetorical question. He says, "Oh life, our life, what would I do without this clown of a wife?" And what is the tone brought out here? Oh life, our life. Now we could say these words in different tones, can't we? In a happier tone as well, we can say whenever you got to know that you all of a sudden you won a lottery, you can say, "Oh life, our life, I won a lottery." But here we find completely an exhausted tone. Oh life, our life. That kind of a tone, isn't it? What would I do without this clown of a wife? Therefore, the clown, he asks this question from himself. He was rather uncertain, unhappy, and he is not satisfied regarding his life as well. Therefore, we find both the husband and the wife, both of them are frustrated regarding their existing life. So we feel great sympathetic feeling regarding these poor people, don't we? Okay guys, now when we consider the themes of this poem, we find mainly the writer brings out the difference between the professional and the personal lives of the people. Now you see, professionally, the clown was a very significant character, the one who brings the happiness to the others as well. But in his personal life, we don't find that so-called happiness, do we? Therefore, this could be taken as one of the major themes in the poem. So, if we say it in other words, you can say the writer brings out the theme that we should not judge the book by its cover. The difference between what people show to the world and really who they are. And we find another theme, that is the importance of communication in order to maintain a healthy relationship. Sorry. We find the same theme in the poem Breakfast as well. And you see both the husband and the wife in this poem, they didn't speak to each other. Therefore, they didn't realize their feelings. Therefore, this could also be taken as a significant theme in this poem, the importance of proper communication in order to maintain healthy relationships. As well as we find the reality or the real agony of the modern breadwinner. Although he works hard, although he tried to bring the happiness to the home, in his personal life, this satisfaction could not be found. So this pathetic fate of the breadwinner is also brought out in this poem. And finally, we find the fate of the housewife too. Although she did everything she could do in order to make her husband happy, she's not admired at all, not even in a single word. You don't see that the clown admires the effort of his wife. Hence, these are the major themes discussed in this poem, The Clown's Wife. Okay, so I suppose this poem, it gives us a great message, doesn't it? In a nutshell, we can say the poem The Clown's Wife is not a mere description of this single character. It could be taken as a fine social analysis. Every breadwinner is represented by this clown. You can understand, in this fast-moving society, most of the breadwinners are like this clown. They show a different face to the world, but inwardly, they are totally frustrated and careworn. Don't you guys think so? Okay, so if you have any questions regarding this poem, do not hesitate to comment. I will definitely reply you. Okay, so we will see in another episode like this. If you have any special requirements, if you have some poems that you still don't understand clearly, do not hesitate to comment. Okay, so we will see in our next episode. All together, lit Godadam.